What's happening guys, it's Bharat Nagpal for iGyaan.in, and in front of you now is the D600 along with the 24-85 kit lens. Now this pack itself will cost you about 1,60,000. This is a kit lens, so if you take it in a kit you get 1,60,000 as the price. But if you buy the camera separately and the lens separately, it's going to cost you a bit more. So the camera body itself cost about 130 and this will cost you about 35. So you probably save a bit of money if you buy them in a pack. Now let's talk about the D600. It's their new small size full frame SLR camera that they've just launched. It does have full HD video recording and a lot of interesting specs for a semi-pro sort of shooter. So somebody who's shifting in from an APS-C size sensor to a larger format, this would be an ideal option for you if you have that kind of budget. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and unbox it. But before I do, I'll tell you that both these things, the D600 along with the Nikon lens or the Nikon lens, will come with a 2-year warranty in India. So let's go ahead and unbox it. I'm going to place the box on the back over here and I'm going to quickly go ahead and unbox it. The first thing inside the box is the Nikon reference manual for the camera. I'm going to put that aside over here. You also have the View NX2 software installer. So this works with Windows as well as Macintosh. That's good. You also get a full-fledged D600 user's manual. So if you are a first-time shooter or even if you are an upgrade shooter, going through this will show you how to use the camera as well as understand the menu interface system. So that's a great idea to read through this. You also have service support numbers for various countries, again, which is a wonderful thing. So if you're traveling with your camera, this might come in handy. You also have a quick start guide, so if you're somebody who's using this camera for the first time, going through this quick start guide may be a good option, or maybe a good idea actually, so that you don't mess up things. You know how to put in the battery, you know how to put on the lens, all those things. And finally, you will get a service warranty card, which is an owner's record of the camera. So that's the documentation and CDs. I'm going to quickly get rid of all of that and I'm going to go further in to the box, which will open up like so. And the first thing we get inside the box is the body of the D600. I'm going to place that aside before I show you a little bit more of that. I'm going to talk about the charger. The next thing inside the box is the battery charger, the MH25. You also get a Nikon camera strap or a shoulder strap or whatever your neck strap as what it's called. So that's nice. You also get a mini USB to USB data transfer cable or a hot sync cable. So if you are shooting and want to record directly to your computer, you can do that with this cable. And this is possibly the power cable for the charger. Yeah, so it's the standard Indian pin system along with a figure 8, which will connect into the charger. And the last thing inside the box, but not the least at all, is the Nikon battery. It is an ENEL15 battery, which is a 1900 milliamp hour battery. What Nikon has pegged it at is that it says that it can do about 900 shots with 50% of the time flash on and 50% of the time flash off. So that's good, a decent size battery for the camera. I'm going to keep the battery because that's interesting. And before I look at the body of the camera, I'm also going to open up the box of the lens. So you can see we have the 2-year warranty sticker over here. You will need to go through that, open up your lens box. Now inside the lens, again, you will get a service warranty card. So that's for your lens. So if you like to carry a lot of lenses, this might come in handy. This is a lens carry pouch. So if you have multiple lenses, you can store your 24 to 85 lens in this so that you can carry it safely without getting it dirty. And then you also have the lens hood, which will be useful when you're shooting outdoors. Now you also get a massive user's manual for the lens, which most of you will not probably need to read, but it comes in a series of languages. So it's a consolidated user's manual for lens. And then you also have a service facility list. Again, the same thing that was in the camera box is also in the lens box. And finally, inside the box, inside this plastic packaging is the new Nikon VRED lens, and you can see over here it is an AFS 24 to 85 Now you can see the f-stop is 3.5 to 4.5, and you also see the focus range meter over here. You'll also see the zoom length meter over here, so 24 to 85 zoom length meter. And on the side over here you will see that manual autofocus buttons or manual focus button, and then you have vibration reduction on or off depending on if you have steady hands or not. So that's the kit lens. You can see there's a Nikon ED lens, and I'm going to put that aside as well. So that's it from the lens box. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the D600. It is a fairly compact camera for a full frame camera. Full frame cameras are usually this big. This one is a tiny little compact camera. There are tons of new things if you are shifting from an APS-C size. So let's go through the basics. Now on the top over here you have the power on and off button along with a dedicated movie record button. You also have the metering mode button and the exposure value compensation over here. Now within the on off button you also have a light button which will enable the backlit for the LCD. Now on the top over here you have a standard hot shoe mount for your flash or an external microphone, and you also have a pop-up flash which is inbuilt into the body of the camera. Now on the left over here are your mode dials. So from auto mode to fully manual mode, you can shift it. You do have a button which locks in the dial in place in case you bump it with your nose or your head or whatever may be protruding out of your body. And then you have the shooting mode option dial, which is also underneath the mode dial, which is over here, which is also protected by a lock. So you need to press down this button to move the shooting mode dial as well. Now on the back is where most of the things are happening. You have the auto exposure, autofocus lock button. You can see that you have an optical viewfinder over here with the diopter adjustment. Over here is your play and trash buttons along with menu button, creative adjust button. You also have a lock button and a white balance lock button, zoom in, zoom out, which is also for ISO settings. And on the right over here you have an info button along with a live viewfinder button, which also helps you shift from photo mode to video mode. You also have a dial which is over here for quick adjustment, and you also have a dial up front just under the power button for quick adjustment as well. Now you do have a 3-inch LCD which is a 921,000 dot LCD, and what Nikon has done is given you a LCD protector which is pre-installed on the camera, so that's good. It protects your camera as well. On the bottom over here you will see a standard tripod mount. You will see the battery compartment which is over here, and while it's open I'm just going to quickly pop in the battery like so. I'm going to lock it in place. On the right hand side you will see we have dual SD card slots for multiple medias, and on the left hand side or the other side you will see a mic and headphone out, which will be really useful if you are a videographer. And you also have HDMI out along with the data connection USB port. This port lets you connect the additional GPS chip that you get. You can also connect the Wi-Fi adapter available from Nikon. Now you can see that the LCD on top is also on. I'm going to quickly go ahead and mount on the lens and show you what the camera looks like. I'm also going to thread the hood. So you can see that the hood is also mounted. This is what the camera looks like with everything mounted. It's a fairly nice size. It is a fairly heavy design, but overall gripage is nice. If I quickly jump into the menu at the back, you will see that you have simplified menu options. You do have a 5-way jog dial over here, which lets you navigate through menus. Quickly jump from playback options to shooting options. You also have custom settings menu. Basic things. You can also turn on the info at the back, which will change color according to the outside light, which is nice. And you can also adjust settings from here. If you press on the info button twice, it will let you select your options at the bottom and change settings from here as well. I can also shift into live view, and with live view you can see that I can turn on a grid along with a orientation sensor on the display as well, which is nice, which is almost like what we saw on the Sony A99 as well. You do have a 24 megapixel or 24.3 megapixel full frame sensor. On the back is a 3.2 inch LCD. I might have said 3 inch earlier. It is a 3.2 inch LCD, and you do have 920 by 180p 30 frames per second shooting for video, which is nice. And you have an eye level pentaprism single reflex viewfinder, which is at the back of the camera. It's got really interesting shooting modes as well. Now it's got 1/4000 maximum shutter speed and 30-second minimum shutter speed, which is nice. You can also shoot up to 5.5 frames per second in continuous mode, which is also absolutely brilliant. Now we will be coming out with a full review of the D600. I'm going to be pegging it up against the A99 if I can actually get my hands on it, because they're kind of similar in terms of pricing and specs. You can see that the focus ring on the lens is really smooth. It's almost butter-like. Zoom ring is also fairly smooth, but it does have a lot of weight because the lens is fairly heavy. Now, like I said, we'll be back with a full review of the D600 really soon. We'll be pegging it up against competition. And if you have any special requests, queries, or questions, you can leave them in the comment section below, and we'll try to get it covered up in the full review. You can also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and we'll also be available on iGyaan, where the full spec list of this camera is, along with the unboxing pictures, etc. So you can check out iGyaan.in. The link is in the description below for all those details. And subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/iGyaan, youtube.com/iGyaanTV. For iGyaan Networks, it's been Bharat Nakwal. Thank you guys for watching.